Pokémon Horizons is back, and a brand new opening has been revealed to commemorate the start of the Rising Again Blueberry Academy arc. Let's take a closer look at the 6th opening of this series and explore all of the details shown. The opening starts with us seeing the Brave Asahi airship before transitioning to seeing the gang and their Pokémon on the deck. Individual frames of the Rising Volt Tacklers are shown, with them accompanied by the Pokémon in their team and on the airship. This frame of Friede and Captain Pikachu is also shown, bringing forward questions to the table. The Rising Again arc logo is shown, and we then see a blue comet before transitioning to seeing Liko with her Pokémon looking to the sky. The gang of 4 then shown jumping forward with their Pokémon. Lacey from the Blueberry Academy is then shown, accompanied by various Pokémon before doing her signature pose. We then see Drayton from the Blueberry Academy chilling with his Archaludon as he too looks to the sky. The Goat Amphia returns, and we can see him training with his Pokémon, whilst accompanied by his loyal companion Zirconconia, who too are shown with their Pokémon. Bro looks so surly in this frame, and we then see him look to the sky before we transition over to see the white shiny Zygarde in its 10% form. We then see Liko walk forward whilst Roy and Uruto are touching grass with their mega capable Pokémon. Dot is then shown looking forward, and as the wind blows her hair with the sun rising, we then see a frame of the auspicious armor hinting that Liko's Charcadet will be evolving into Armarouge within this arc. Roy and Uruto are then shown spudding with their mega rings, to then see Gurumin and then a Gimmighoul coin, possibly hinting that Dot's Gimmighoul could evolve into Goldingo within this arc. I can't seem to work out what this frame is, but is that Muchi? Are we going to see Pecharunt in this arc? But this frame shows off the strong sphere. Is that Friede holding it? Ricurium is then shown before we see the silhouettes of Indy and Rubella from the Explorers. Rayquaza then rises before we then see more team frames of characters who will be returning in this arc, such as Nemona, Penny, Iono, Anne, Diana, Hamba, the Explorer admins, and of course, the big bad boss being Spinal. Liko, Roy, Dot and Uruto are then all shown with their Pokemon as they battle Captain Pikachu on the deck of the Brave Asahi airship. We then see frames of Nemona, Penny and Anne alongside everyone's Pokemon together. Lacey is then shown once again at the Blueberry Academy with her Plusle Minun and her Terra Excadrill, before we then see Drayton again with his Terra Archaludon and Kingdra. The Ricurium infected 6 heroes are then all shown in their berserk states, before we then see Rayquaza using Dragon Ascent. Liko then brings forward a Pokeball before we see her grow throughout the series. She is then on the deck with her friends and Pokemon before the camera pans out to show the Brave Asahi airship flying away. Wow, what an incredible opening. The song and animation just mix so well together, and I'm looking forward to seeing how all of these events come forward in the new arc ahead. Let's now take a look back at some of the events that occurred during the Mega Evolution arc. With Emma now being part of the Pokémon anime, her backstory has been revealed. During the Mega Evolution arc, we learned that Emma grew up in Lumio City on the streets, and she never met her parents. Looker then came along and became her guardian, taking her under his wing and teaching her the basics such as reading and writing. As time went by, Looker eventually left Lumios and he allowed Emma to stay at his home. She became a detective alongside Mimi, her Esper, and her Ampharos, who is also capable of Mega Evolution. She also owns a restaurant. Emma then ended up meeting Uruto, who she too taught how to read and write whilst looking after him, just like how Looker did for her. I think the anime did a solid job with Emma's anime counterpart, trying to keep the characters close to the game canon whilst implementing some new elements too. But let's now talk about Uruto's tragic backstory. During the Mega Evolution arc, we learned that Uruto was homeless and wandering the streets of Lumios with his Sableye. It wasn't until that he then met Emma, who looked after him and taught him how to read and write and study, whilst letting him also stay at Looker's home. This is actually really interesting, because it wasn't that long ago that we found out that Uruto got his Dragonite from his father, and seeing as the events that took place within the Mega Evolution arc were prior to the Mega Voltage arc, what exactly happened to his family? It makes sense why Uruto is so embarrassed around with women as well, especially with the first randomer being Emma, who looked after him. But it does make you wonder what other secrets are behind Uruto. So with the Mega Evolution arc confirming that Looker does exist, there are still a lot of questions about whether or not if this character is the key to link both Ash Ketchum's timeline together with Pokémon Horizons. We first got revealed to an image of Looker back in episode 113, and prior to that, we saw an image of him with Emma and his Krogan. This image is found in Emma's restaurant. Whilst we don't know if we will ever actually see Looker in the Horizons episode, it does make you think if this really is a connection to Ash Ketchum or not, seeing as he is the only actual character from both timelines to be made present. The backpacker doesn't really count, as that's just a trainer class, and there's multiple of them in the world. We now have the full backstory of how Roy met and caught his Shiny Lucario. Roy first met Yellow Blast in episode 112, where he lost to it in battle. Master Mayonnaise mentioned that this Lucario has an incredible fighting spirit, and no one has ever been able to come close to it in battle. He then gave Roy the Mega Ring. Roy began training and battled against Uruto in episode 113, and Lucario watched closely, noting that Roy is a valuable trainer and works together well with his Pokemon. Roy then battled Lucario again in episode 114, and during the battle, he was able to show Lucario his worth and respect, leading to him Mega Evolving the Pokemon, beating it, and catching it. Quite a cool wholesome arc. So even though Roy caught Lucario, something huge happened that doesn't normally happen in the Pokemon anime, and that is the fact that Roy Mega Evolved a wild Pokemon. What was the anime cooking, bro? Like, don't get me wrong, okay, if you have the Keystone and Megastone in the proximity, then fine, the transformation is going to kick off. But the thing with Mega Evolution is that it requires a bond with a trainer and a Pokemon. Yes, they had a bond, but Roy didn't even catch Lucario and was able to Mega Evolve it. I don't know if that's because of the aura that they both shared or if the Pokemon anime just wanted to be unique at that moment, but wow man, talk about change. To be fair, Mega Evolution has changed since Pokemon Journeys, where Megastones just appear out of nowhere compared to being attached to the Pokemon. But still, those trainers had those Pokemon in their possession and actually caught them. And the fact Roy managed to Mega Evolve a wild Pokemon is pretty wild, yeah. The next big evolution is happening, and it's going to be Liko's Charcadet evolving into Armarouge. As shown in today's new opening, there was a frame that revealed the auspicious armor, hinting that Liko's Charcadet will evolve into Armarouge potentially during this arc. After seeing how Charcadet battled against Ceruledge and has been aiming to be a Pokemon that can protect Liko, I'm really looking forward to seeing this evolution unfold and for it to team up with Ceruledge later on in the final battle against Spinal. With Roy catching the Shiny Lucario, there was one detail that was shown during the build up of this capture. Communicating with Lucario and telling it how it wants to do its best, Roy was able to showcase Aura, allowing Lucario to understand his feelings and determination. This is actually pretty cool, seeing as we got to see Roy and Lucario use this Aura in sync back in episode 91. The Mega Evolution arc has done a great job at clarifying how Roy got Lucario, and I'm glad it explained how Roy also emitted Aura prior to this capture that allowed it to bond successfully with the Pokemon. In episode 114, we finally learned how Roy got rid of his cap prior to the 1 year time skip. At the end of the episode, Roy decided to buy some new clothing. He decided to leave his cap behind as a token of remembrance and their friendship. This is such a kind gesture, and it also shows how he truly valued his friendship with Emma. It's also a nice way for him to transition to his new growth, leaving behind his past self and literally growing into a much more confident character. Speaking of Cap, is something going to happen to him within this arc? The new opening has revealed some very interesting frames with the Pokemon alongside Friede. Whilst we know that Captain Pikachu is keen to be reunited with his original trainer, I can't help but think that something could potentially also happen to him in a certain situation. I don't think it will eventually happen, but I don't know bruv, something is just itching me the wrong way. Even this frame from the previous opening says a lot. Will it be that Friede returns and that Pikachu actually has to suffer in a different way? This frame does show someone holding a strong sphere, and looking at the sleeve of the jacket, it could be Friede. But man, I hope this isn't the case. Friede is coming back. In the latest special preview trailer, we saw a clip of the Rotom phone playing a new message from Friede. Whilst it's still unconfirmed if this is real or a counterfeit with Spinal trying to trick the gang, I'm almost certain it's real, and we will see Friede return again in this arc. The new poster from this arc clearly shows Friede is present, and whilst he may just be there for a promotional factor rather to correspond with his return, we're definitely going to be hopefully seeing him return very soon. Well man then, Pokemon Horizons is back, and this new arc is looking very promising. The Blueberry Academy arc is setting up the climax of this series, and there's a lot to look forward to, especially with potential returns and new reveals. As always, be sure to stay tuned for more to come from the series. If you enjoyed the video, then be sure to leave the video a like, and subscribe for more Pokemon Horizons coverage and Pokemon anime content.